once you're seated, just try to adjust the mic so it's aimed at your chin. And we'll start with the states, and then we'll go to the defense. Mr. Nelson, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Dan Strandberg.
And like with the last gentleman that testified, we haven't had you testify for a while. So if you could spell your last name for the court, please.
Strandberg.
Okay. And are you currently employed, Mr. Sandberg?
I am not.
Okay. Were you formerly employed?
I was.
Could you give us a brief rundown of your work history?
Almost 30 years at the Minot Police Department. Retired there as captain in charge of investigations. Then I went and worked for the Department of Corrections for 6 years as a probation officer.
Now, that time that you were approximately 30 years, you said, at the Minot Police Department?
Yeah, 29 and change.
29 and change. And what were roughly the dates on that?
Oh, May 2nd, I think it was 1986, to July 31st, 2015.
So you remember specifically the day, but you have trouble with the year?
No, I'm pretty sure that was 1986. I just had to think about it for a second.
Okay. Now, you were a licensed peace officer at the time?
At the Minot Police Department, I started as a civilian dispatcher, did that for, I suppose, a couple of years, and then was licensed after that.
Okay. And what sort of training and experience did you have while you were with the Minot Police Department?
Lots of training, thousands of hours of law enforcement training.
Okay. Now, on the 4th of June of 2007, were you sent out on a call relating to this case?
Yes.
And what was the nature of that call?
I got a voicemail on my cell phone from the PD that Officer Barnard was at a crime scene and requested that I respond to it.
And did you respond to that scene?
I did.
Was that at 2420 4th Street Northwest?
Yes.
In Minot?
Yes.
That's in Ward County?
Yes.
What happened next?
I got the call. I went to the PD and got a digital camera. Sergeant Sunbakken was working on a search warrant for the residents, and I responded to the residents, started taking some photos of some of the outside of the residents, waiting for the search warrant.
Okay. Showing opposing counsel what's been marked as States Exhibit 3A through F and 4A through 4D. Permission to approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
I've handed you a stack of documents there. If you could look through those and tell me if you recognize them. you recognize those?
Yeah, they're photographs. They're photographs that I took of the general scene.
Is that those photographs the outside of the apartment?
Yes.
Okay. And are these true and accurate copies of the photographs that you took?
Yes.
State moves to introduce these exhibits into evidence, Your Honor.
And it consists of 6 under 3 and 4 under the 4. 10 exhibits.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Sand, do you have
No
any
objection,
objections?
Your Honor.
All right. States exhibits 3A through 3F and 4A through 4D are received without objection.
Now, what happened next? You said you were talking about the search warrant.
The search warrant got signed, and we entered the apartment.
And what happened at that point?
We went through the apartment. You walk in, there's a living room. Behind that, there's a kitchen. Hallway goes to your right. As you go down the hallway, you're going to the west. There's a bathroom on your left. There's a bedroom straight ahead and a bedroom at the end of the hallway on the right.
Okay. Now, did you take photographs within the apartment as well as the photographs you took outside the apartment?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I've got another batch of photographs for you now. 5A and B. Just because we got multiple batches, we'll do this one batch at a time.
Okay.
Do you recognize these photographs?
Yes.
And are these photographs of Anita's apartment?
Yes.
Okay, are they true and accurate copies of photographs?
Yes.
You took these photographs?
Yes.
State moves to enter 5A and 5B.
Mr. Sand?
No objection, Your Honor.
States exhibits 5A and 5B will be received without objection.
A couple new photographs there. Do you recognize these photographs?
Yes.
Are you the one that took these photographs?
Yes.
And what are these photographs?
These are photographs of the body.
Okay, and are these true and accurate copies of the photographs?
Yes.
State moves to enter 6A and 6B into evidence.
Mr. Sand?
No objection.
Plaintiff's exhibits 6A and 6B are received without objection.
And here we have more photographs. It's a bit of a stack, so if you want to take a moment to look through all those. Now, are these all photographs that you took at the scene?
Yes.
Are they true and accurate copies of the photographs that you took?
Yes.
State moves to introduce exhibits 7A through S into evidence.
Mr. Sand?
If I just may ask, are these the ones that were in that blue trapper keeper?
Yes.
No objection, Your Honor.
Hey, could you count that up? Because I'm
19 photos.
19.
States Exhibits 7A through 7S will be received without objection. You did say no objection, right, Mr. Sand?
Yep, no objection, sir.
Thank you.
So what happened next?
Well, we started, as we were taking these pictures, we're taking items in evidence, and I'm photographing them, taking the items, and turning them over to Sergeant Sunbach, and he's creating the inventory.
So you're taking things that you believe could be of evidentiary value?
Yes.
What exactly does, when you look at a scene like that, what makes something of value versus something that's not of value?
Proximity to, in this case, the victim. I mean, one item in there is a knife. That would be something of interest. Anything that the victim or suspect or other people may have had, I'll call it, contact with.
So
Things that seem unusual.
you mentioned the knife. And there's a photograph of the knife that was just entered into evidence?
There's more than one photograph
More
of the
than one.
knife.
Were there other knives located?
No.
Was there blood on that knife?
Yes, there was what appeared to be blood on the knife.
You've seen blood on things before, and you're not just necessarily as an officer, but in your everyday life?
Yes.
And was that pretty consistent with what blood looks like on something?
Yes.
Okay. You had an opportunity to actually see the body of Anita Knutson?
Yes.
And was it apparent how she died?
Well, when we got there and entered the room, she's laying on her belly or on her chest, I'll call it. And we'd lifted, she had a nightgown on, or not a nightgown, but a bathrobe on. And we lifted the bathrobe looking for any indications of any marks or anything on the back, but didn't find any. And after we had taken everything that was kind of like on top of the body, we brought in a big sheet of like white paper.
So
and
like butcher paper? Like
yeah,
probably about yay wide?
there's those
Yeah.
rolls that are about like, I suppose, 4 feet wide, and on I don't know how big a roll it is, 200 feet or whatever they are. We brought in a piece of that from the PD and laid it down, and we rolled the body onto the paper.
And why did you do that?
We're trying to preserve any evidence that might be on her, so it would fall on the paper rather than in the carpet or whatever kind of flooring they have.
So in an apartment like that, there's carpeting in this apartment, in the bedroom.
I couldn't swear to that, but I think there was.
Okay. So it's basically to make sure that it didn't, if something was of value, that it didn't get lost.
Yes.
Okay. So what happened next?
We rolled her onto the paper, and we could see a wound like at her sternum, on the left side of the sternum. I would say it was slightly above like the nipple line in her chest.
Okay. Was it clear that that was a stabbing?
Yes.
Why was it clear?
It appeared to be a knife wound.
So that would make the knife that was found potentially very valuable.
Yes.
Okay. What happened next in the investigation?
Dr. Smith was our county coroner. I called him and spoke to him, and he authorized release of the body to the state medical examiner. We called community ambulance, and Cliff Black came and responded. And
Was he with the ambulance?
yeah, Cliff was a
Okay.
longtime ambulance driver.
Please continue.
He took the body and the bedding and the piece of white paper and loaded it up and took it to the medical examiner's office in Bismarck.
Okay. Now, as part of the investigation, was a screen brought to your attention?
A screen, yes.
Okay. A window screen specifically.
Yes.
How did that come to your attention?
Well, there was not a screen in the window when we arrived. And
Would you have expected a screen to be there?
yes.
Okay.
And it's my understanding that the maintenance guy at the apartment complex had picked that screen up. I believe it was the morning before. It was hanging on the window. And
Did he take you to the screen?
he did. It was in his shop.
Okay. And you saw the screen in the shop?
I did.
Showing you as it's marked as states 8A and 8B. Do you recognize those photos?
Yes.
Are you the one that took these photos?
Yes.
Are they true and accurate copies of those photos?
Yes.
State moves to enter 8A and 8B into evidence.
No objection.
States Exhibit 8A and 8B will be received without objection.
What did you do next with your involvement in the case? Well, let me back up a bit. Did you take
We're
that
going to have
screen?
to back up a little bit because,
Did you take that screen into evidence?
yes.
Okay. And why is that?
Well, it appeared to be possibly a point of entry or exit. The screen was cut. It was damaged. It was bent.
Now, at this point in an investigation, and we're talking about more investigations broadly, not necessarily this one, do you have all the answers in the case?
No.
So you're collecting that because you think it might be valuable, not necessarily because it is valuable.
Yes.
Okay. So now we've got that established. What happened next in your involvement in the investigation?
Well, we're kind of jumping around here because the pictures of the screen and some of the pictures of the outside were taken like Tuesday morning on the 5th. And going back to the 4th when we were processing the scene, and Black came and got the body. We continued to process the scene and take things that we thought would be of evidentiary value.
Now,
Go ahead.
No, you said some of those pictures were taken the next day,
Yes.
but they still are a fair, accurate representation of what, say, the outside of the building would look like and things of that nature.
Yes.
Okay, please continue.
After we kind of cleared the scene, but had patrol keep the scene secure, and we left for the night. and started again the next day. And that's where some of these pictures were taken, were the next day.
So what happened next in the investigation at that point?
I know that we photographed some footprints that were outside the window. I at least attempted to make a cast of those footprints, sprayed fixer on them and poured plaster of Paris in them. And we did come up with something anyway.
Were you able to figure out whose footprints those were?
Yeah, from looking at the photographs, and we compared the maintenance guy's shoes, and it was not his. And at one point, I had Mr. Knutson bring his shoes in.
You're talking Gordon Knutson?
Yes, bring his shoes in, and they matched his shoes, and he had been standing there at one point.
So he was standing right outside the window?
That's my understanding.
Okay. Now please continue.
Well, from there, we pretty much cleared it as a crime scene and left it unsecure, and kind of started interviewing people. Like,
who did you interview?
Lots of people. Michael Van was one of the early people.
Who was that?
Michael Van was a local guy, I suppose, early 20s. He knew Anita. He would have been the last person who had contact with Anita's phone anyway. There was text conversations going into like about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning into Sunday.
Sunday the 3rd.
Sunday the 3rd.
Okay. So the 3rd of June.
Yes.
Okay. Please continue.
Yeah, and Van told me that they were texting, and he was at his buddy's place, Jason Rudd. It sounded like there was a party going on there. And at some point, everybody left the party, and I think they went to McDonald's except for Michael Van.
Did you look into Michael Van as a suspect?
Yes.
And what was the result of the investigation into Michael Van?
He denied any involvement. We could not really tie any physical evidence into Michael Van that I'm aware of.
So because there was no evidence of his involvement, you cleared him, so to speak?
I guess as clear as anybody was.
Okay. In the course of your investigation, did you obtain the defendant's phone bill from the time period of May 24 of 07 to June 23rd of 07?
Yes.
How did you obtain that phone bill?
Via subpoena.
And who did you subpoena?
I know we subpoenaed Alltel, and it's not coming to me. But they were for different phone records.
Do you recognize that document?
Yes.
And what is that document?
That is phone statement from Altel for Ms. Rice's phone.
Okay. Now, there are some alterations to that bill, are there not? There's a photocopy of a posted note on the front page, and there's some highlighting.
There is.
Other than that, are there any alterations to the information inside?
Not that I can see.
Okay. And the posted note of the photocopy of the posted note on the front, does it appear to obscure anything, any information behind that?
Yeah, there's some letters that are obscured.
Okay. But this is the phone bill that was obtained from Altel for Ms. Rice.
Yes.
The state moves to enter this into evidence, Your Honor.
Mr. Sand.
I'm going to object, Your Honor, on a couple of grounds. Just paging through it, there's highlighting and alterations on it. Mr. Strandberg's not the custodian of this record through Altel, and he didn't even know that's who was subpoenaed. So it doesn't seem like it's a record that's properly kept. It's got highlighting in multiple places on it as well. So we're going to object.
First off, Mr. Nelson, what's the exhibit number or letter?
It's Exhibit 18, Your Honor, and it's 6 pages long.
You heard the objection. Do you have any other information?
Well, Your Honor, unfortunately, this is the best evidence rule. This is the only information that's available right now because Altel is a defunct company. We do not have someone from Altel. We have the witness here who is willing to testify and did testify that this is the document that he received from Altel. So I believe the foundation has been laid.
Over your objection, Mr. Sand, the court will receive Plaintiff's Exhibit 18.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Sand, do you have any cross-examination?
I do, sir. Thank you. So you go by Mr. Strandberg now, is that correct? Used to be Lieutenant Strandberg?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Now you took photographs at the scene.
Yes,
You photographed a knife.
I did.
Do you still have those exhibits?
Yes, I do. I'm trying to keep them separate, the exhibits.
Look through your report, and I noticed you reference taking a picture here. Can you read what exhibit that is?
It says 7J.
What do you see in that picture?
I see the knife on a piece of legal pad paper and a scale.
Like a ruler?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything particular about the knife you see?
Mr. Sand, are you on mute?
Is you having trouble picking me up? Can you hear me now? Is there another one of these mics I can use?
I don't.
Seems to be a recurring problem.
We only have two.
Okay.
One on each table.
Well, if this works, I'll just hold it like this then. What do you see on the knife where the lock is?
You mean where the
Yeah, right here.
Indian with the headdress?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a medallion Indian with a headdress.
Okay. Okay. And you took a picture of the other side of this knife as
Yeah.
well, correct? Is that this exhibit 7I?
Yes.
Okay. And in 7J, where that Indian with the headdress is, what do you see on this side, 7I?
The medallion's missing.
Okay. It's not there. Okay. you take any other photographs of this knife that you recall?
There should
On
be
the bed
some
here?
on the bed.
Mr. Strandberg, I'll just have you run through 7C through 7H here one more time.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. And in those photos, do you see the same thing, that the Indian head's missing on the other side?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to keep these up there, or do you mind if I put them down here?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
If I need to reference again, I'll ask.
Back up. All right, thanks. You have the screen there, I see.
Yes.
Before you got here, I had some trouble with this photo, so I appreciate you having it. So this is 8A, 8B, correct?
I'd have to read, but
Okay, sorry.
yes.
Okay. Do you recall seeing that screen?
Yes.
Where did you see it?
It was in, I'll call it Mr. Nell's shop.
Mr. Anel, and he's the maintenance man.
Yes.
Okay. You were in that shop,
Yes.
and he was with you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I know it was a long time ago. Okay. Did he tell you when he had brought that screen to the shop?
He said that he had, sounds like he, in the mornings, he kind of takes a stroll around the complex.
Okay.
And he saw it hanging there, and a pretty common thing for tenants to lock themselves out of their apartments
Okay.
and like break in through a window or something.
Yeah.
So he took it from the window.
Okay. He took it from the window itself.
Yes.
We had testimony earlier that it was found 100 yards from that building. Does that make any sense to you?
Does not make any sense to me.
Okay. Did he say it was still in the window when he found it?
Yes. That's my memory.
And he took it out of the window.
Yes.
Do you notice anything wrong with this screen?
Well, it's been cut
It's been cut.
and it's bent up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has it been cut once or twice, does it look like?
I'm going to describe it as like a backwards L-shaped cut.
Okay, I'll take that. Thank you. How long were you at the scene, Mr. Strandberg?
Well, it was June 4th, and I got the call 6 o'clock-ish is my memory,
Okay.
and we were there till after dark,
Okay.
so 5-6 hours.
Okay. And I assume a case like this, there was a lot of follow-up.
Yes,
Okay. Did you conduct any interviews?
I did.
Do you remember talking to a woman named Rebecca Ehrman?
I do.
Do you remember her telling you about a Native American man with a bloody shirt running from the scene?
She said that there was a Native American man running, I believe, on 4th Street, northbound, and that he had some sort of stain on his shirt. She said it could have been blood.
Remember how tall she said he was? 6'2", does that sound right?
I think 6'2", early 20s, 200 pounds.
Okay.
We did identify that person.
Okay. Did you have any investigation into a man named Jerome Vivier?
Yes.
Did you talk to Mr. Vivier?
About this?
Yes.
I was present when he was interviewed, I believe.
Okay. What do you recall from that?
He was represented, is my memory, at that time,
Okay.
and he denied any involvement.
How long did that interview go on for?
I'm not sure. Yes.
Okay. Do you know where it took place?
It was in the, well, my memory is it was in the bullpen at the PD at Barnard's desk.
Okay. Do you know who the attorney was you had with him?
I think it was Ryan Sandberg.
Okay. Local Minot defense attorney.
Yeah.
Do you remember how much homework you did into Mr. Vivier?
Me?
Yeah.
Involving this incident?
Involving any incident.
I had investigated a case 2 or 3 weeks earlier. It was a GSI case,
What does GSI mean?
I
Your Honor, I'm
suppose.
going to object as to relevance.
Mr. Sand, where are we going?
I'm asking about his investigation into Mr. Vivier, and he's telling me about what led to Mr. Vivier's investigation and the questioning of him.
No, that's not what you asked. You're asking about a different case.
He's telling me about a different case as the result of the investigation. I'm sure that's why they looked into Mr. Vivier.
I'm going to sustain the objection unless you lay more foundation as to how it's connected here.
Okay. Do you know why you were looking into Mr. Vivier as a suspect in this case?
I had investigated Mr. Vivier on a GSI case,
Thank you, sir. What does GSI stand for?
gross sexual imposition.
Okay. Now, I don't know if everybody knows what gross sexual imposition is, but in North Dakota, that's a rape case. Would you say that?
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is testifying at this point.
I'm on cross.
Overruled. You can ask that.
A juryman would call it a rape.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do you remember anything particular about this GSI case?
It started at a party in like at those apartments. There's like 3 buildings, 320, 324, and 300, 320, and 324, I think.
I got this map.
27th Avenue Northwest.
Take a look at it.
Sure. You want me to stand up? Come over there?
Sure, we can share the mic. Okay. Can you show me where on the map those apartments are?
Be right here.
Okay, where's the crime scene?
Which crime scene?
Anita Knutson's murder scene.
Right here.
Can you hear them? You guys, if you're going to stop, if you're going to share that mic, you need to actually use it. So
Yes, sir. Sorry. You stand, this is where Anita Knutson's murder happened. That was testified to earlier, correct? Right around here?
Yes.
Thank you. And could you point to where the Jerome Vivier rape happened, that he was accused of rape?
Well, say that it started here, and they drove to a park that's kind of over here, and that's where the rape happened.
But the party where this took place, you're saying, was right up here.
Yes.
Sir,
Your
that's
Honor,
all.
I'm going to
Thanks.
renew my objection. There's no connection to this case laid so far. There's no foundation to this.
wrong. Your objection's overruled. You did lay foundation for it.
I show you a certified record of this GSI case. Just to confirm we're talking about the same person.
Your Honor, I have no idea what a certified record of a GSI case means.
It's the criminal judgment I'm happy to show you. So, Mr. Strandberg, I'm happy to take a look at this. So you've had a quick second to look at that?
Yeah.
What do you see there?
It's a criminal judgment
For who?
for Drawn Vivier.
Is this for the GSI case we were discussing?
It would appear to be, yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to offer this criminal judgment as a self-authenticating document as a certified record for the court.
Mr. Nelson?
Your Honor, there is no relevance to that GSI and this case, so I object on
What's
that
the
grounds.
exhibit number?
One A, or I guess A, Your Honor, defense A.
It would be B.
So this would be Defense Exhibit B.
Sure.
And Mr. Sand, do you believe there's relevance to this?
I do. I believe, as we're pointing on the board as to where this happened, as to the reason Mr. Vivier was being questioned by detectives when this happened, I believe it's very relevant.
Your objection is sustained. It's not relevant.
Okay.
Make sure you don't take it with you.
You want me to leave it up here, Your Honor?
Yes.
Your Honor, only the judgment was offered. There's quite a few more pages than just the judgment.
I can pull just the judgment.
Yep, just the judgment. How many?
Mr. Sand, how many pages is B?
I'd have to count it here. Your Honor, do you want me to tell you how many pages it is?
I do. Appears to be 7 pages. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Strandberg, you investigated Mr. Vivier's GSI case. We established that. Did that leave your department or lead you to any connection to investigating him in this case?
He was certainly somebody we should have looked into.
Yeah. I mean, given the proximity of where we were pointing to up here where it all happened, right?
And other things.
What other things?
Well, I guess he wasn't involved in that, so no. I'll take that back.
I'll let you think about it. How close in proximity were the dates? Do you remember?
I would say 3 weeks.
Do you know of any other associates of Mr. Vivier that you came across during your investigation?
During this investigation?
One of Ms. Knutson, yeah.
No. We're talking this investigation, not that investigation.
The one of Ms. Knutson here, sir.
Yes. Devin Hall?
Devin Hall is an associate of Mr. Vivier's?
Yes.
Okay. What did you learn about Devin Hall?
I did not. I was not really involved in the investigations into Devin Hall.
Who was that? Who was?
I don't know.
But other officers at Minot PD?
Yes.
Did you talk to a woman named Felicia Campbell in 2007? Do you remember that? I know.
I remember it from my notes, but I don't remember the conversation.
I got you. If I showed you a very old report of yours, would that help you refresh your recollection?
Yes.
So this is the report. This is where I'd like to have you look right here on 7507, just to the end.
Okay.
Do you recall that conversation now?
Vaguely, maybe.
Okay. Do you remember what Ms. Tart might have said to you?
Objection, Your Honor. That would call for hearsay.
Do you remember what you learned?
Sustained.
Do you remember what you learned from talking to Ms. Campbell?
Objection, Your Honor. That would be relying on hearsay at this point.
It's not an objection.
Overruled.
She talked about being at the club with some friends, and one of them being, at least Jerome Vivier was there.
Did she say what, not talking to Jerome Vivier?
Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay.
Sustained.
Okay.
What club are we talking about?
Yeah, the 101.
101. Okay. Did your investigation lead you to any information of Mr. Vivier going to the 101?
The only recollection I have is from what you just showed me.
Did you pull any records from it? You know, at the 101, are you aware that they scan IDs? Or they did?
Sure.
Were you involved in any record pulling from those IDs being scanned?
Not that I recall.
Okay. What in your investigation led to you realizing that Mr. Vivier went to the 101?
I guess my conversation with Campbell.
With this woman?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where Mr. Vivier is originally from?
He's from the Fort Peck Indian Reservation, I think Wolf
right.
Point, but I'm not sure if that's if Wolf Point's where he's from, but he's from the reservation.
He's from Fort Peck Indian Reservation. Okay. In your investigation, and you may not know this, but do you know where Devin Hall's from?
I believe he's from Fort Peck as well.
Thank you, sir. Is this still going?
Colette, is he still on?
Do we need a new battery?
It's on.
Mr. Sand, perhaps if you put it on your tie, it might work better.
Mr. Strand? Mr. Strandberg, do you recall receiving a voicemail from a Carla McGill in 2022?
A voicemail from who?
Carla McGill?
No.
Do you remember ever receiving a voicemail from Carla McGill?
No.
Okay.
In 2022?
No, I apologize. That's when the transcript started on this. It would have been in 2007, but I'm going to withdraw this line of questioning for later, sir. Now, I know other investigators worked on this report, so if you don't know, that's okay. But did you learn anything else about this knife, this Indian head knife?
Yeah.
Okay.
That knife in particular?
This knife.
Not that knife in particular.
Okay.
I discovered the manufacturer and
Okay.
Stuff
this
like that.
knife in particular.
no.
Okay. Now, just to make sure I understand, you sat in on an interview with Mr. Vivier while Ryan Sandberg, defense counsel, was there. Did you ever have another occasion to talk to him during this investigation?
Jerron?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Probably in the
Or
other,
not that I remember.
probably in the other investigations, though, that we discussed earlier.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. I appreciate it, sir.
All right. So Nelson, do you have any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Strandberg, the running man that was described here, we're not talking about the movie, we're talking about the person running near the scene there. Was that person you said was identified?
It was.
And how was that person identified?
He came forth. I don't remember his name. He was somebody out doing newspaper deliveries back when they did that. And he was running, finishing his route.
So it
This
was
is my memory.
an innocent reason for him being there and running in that moment.
Yes.
And Jerome Vivier, he was looked into for this, but what happened in that investigation?
I guess we investigated him and didn't find any evidence tying him to the case.
So he was ruled out as a suspect.
As much as anybody.
Did you receive information that he wasn't even in Minot at the time of the murder?
Not that I remember.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Sand,
Nothing else, Your Honor.
is the officer here by subpoena? Mr. Nelson?
He is, Your Honor. He can be released.
Mr. Sand, any objections?
No, I just will note for the court that we have this officer under subpoena as well.
So do you wish to, and is he under your subpoena?
He's under our subpoena as well, I believe,
Do
for
you
next
wish to
week.
keep him then?
Yes, Your Honor, we're going to keep him.
So, Mr. Sandberg, you're still under their subpoena. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Counsel, it's 6 minutes after 3 o'clock. I'd like to take a short break. Any objections?
None from the state, Your Honor.
No objections, sir.
All right. Can you turn off you can leave the camera on for my admonition, I suppose. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to take a short break. Again, it's 6 minutes after. We'll reconvene at 20 minutes after, so about 14 minutes. To you, as I've promised I would